Good morning and welcome to Sunday Coffee. This is my artist series, and today I am so happy to introduce you to one of my fellow artist colleagues, friends, Sophia Lacroix. And she's a talented artist from Haiti, working in Miami. Her background is her first degree was in a Bachelor of Science at University of Florida in nutrition and health. And now she's going back to school and she's going to get that BFA from Florida International University to continue on with her MFA master's degree in art. So Sophia, hello and welcome to the show.
Hello, Trisha. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's such a pleasure to see you.
You too. And let me ask you, I always ask my guests, okay, so it's Sunday morning, it's coffee time. I have a matcha with almond milk. What are you drinking this morning?
So my favorite coffee, or one of my favorite coffees, is Café du Monde coffee, which is the coffee from New Orleans with chicory. It's a little stronger. It's a little darker. It's so good with some sugar-free creamer that has vanilla and caramel in it. So it's like drinking candy, honestly.
Cheers to that. Here we go. Mm-hmm. I'll take that. I'm going to put my little coffee mug back here. Well, let's start with you, Sophia. So how did you come to the United States? What was your journey here?
Okay, so I was born and raised in Haiti. My first language is French, and my second language is Haitian Creole. The national language of Haiti, official language, is Haitian Creole or French. I don't remember. From my generation, French was more valued, but now, fortunately, they value more Creole. So I came here when I was 14 because my mother, honestly, she had a dream that her father, who passed away when she was a teenager, told her that my child, great things await you in the United States. But I always felt that I was destined to be American because I was so into the American culture. I watched Sesame Street like crazy and learned some English words, and I could kind of sort of pretend to have a conversation. But that's what we came here for what I thought was a visit, not knowing that we would stay, and I left everything behind, including my art supplies. And we stayed.
Oh,
Excellent.
excellent.
To Miami.
So how does your art influence your journey here to America? What was that like? Because you told me that you really got up early and you really studied art, that you were very studious.
So, art was always the thing that I turned to as my escape. My childhood was not always as much fun because my mom didn't make the best choice in spouse, so there was domestic violence in my background, and my escape was always art. But I think it's a blessing that I always excelled academically, and it very much served me here in the United States because when I arrived, and I immediately started excelling academically and demonstrated that I could do so well. I was fortunate enough to get a full academic scholarship and be accepted early to not only University of Florida, but FIU, where I work now and I go to school. But art became the thing that solved everything for me. And it turned out to be my path to U.S. residency and citizenship. I was able to demonstrate that I had exceptional talent and as such should be awarded a green card based on that. And this is how I became a citizen, a resident and a citizen, because I showed that I was published in magazine and books, and I won awards and earned money from art, and that met all the criteria.
Wow. Well, how did you then diverge into nutritional science then? You didn't major in art at UF?
No, I did not. So here's the thing. And for those of you who are Caribbean descent, and more than that,
Mhm.
you do not tell a Caribbean parent that you want to be an artist. Not when when you excel, especially not when you excel academically.
Oh.
So for Haitian parents, you can be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer,
Oh.
or a nurse.
Oh.
Okay. So my mom made a valid point when I was a teenager and deciding what to pursue, that I could always do art, but it would be nice to be able to pay for things. So since I'm so smart and I do so well academically, why not become a doctor? But I firmly believe that things happen in life for a reason, because the nutritional sciences degree was technically a pre-med degree, and it was selected by my best friend, Debbie, who's now a physician, because if I was not going to have fun and in school and paint, then I might as well have fun with my friends. So immediately in Gainesville at University of Florida, I found this great group of girls, Debbie, Liz, Lucy, Beatrice, and we became best friends. We're best friends to this day. And those are that's my wonderful support. I adore these ladies. And I decided that I might as well just make sure that I have every class with Debbie.
Yeah.
So since she wanted to be a doctor and she really cared about it, unlike me, let me just do what she does. So we ended up graduating with the same bachelor's degree. And then I ended up working in social work just to support myself, because the other thing they tell you when you graduate with a bachelor's degree in nutritional sciences, unless you get a certification in some kind of certification and you stay and you take extra courses, you're not going to be able to work in your field. So I ended up working for the Department of Children and Families, which answered, which appealed to me because the other thing that I love was helping the underserved. My friends used to call me Mother Teresa because there was always a cause that I would fight, and there was somebody that I would rescue and make a change their lives, and that allowed me to make a difference. So I still work in community and social work in some extent, but art is my passion. It's what I spend most of my free time doing, and this is something that I know I'm making a difference, because when people look at my work, I really think that they enjoy what they see, especially members of the Haitian diaspora when I do my Haitian market scene.
So then, yes, I can see in the background we've got like lots of plants back there too, kind of like nutrition. We got people and see the influence. Well, so what prompted you to go back to school and just get that BFA? What happened?
Okay, so first I have to explain about how being a spouse and motherhood fits in. I always say with my baby honey, my cutie pie Willie, my spouse, that I had to sift through a lot of not so great relationships in order to find my gem.
Yeah.
So I met my spouse later in life and I became a mom at 40.
Mm.
And once I became a mom, because that's something I'd wanted so long
Mm.
ago, I promise you, I'm convinced that I dreamed about my daughter in my 20s because I saw her clearly. Or in my,
Wow.
yeah, in my late 20s, I saw clearly this baby that she looks like what I remember. So once I became a mom, I had to make her and taking care of my family my priority. When she became a little older and she became more independent,
Mm.
as much as I wish she was still more dependent on me, I finally decided, and it just dawned on me that since I worked for FIU and getting a couple of classes is part of
Mm-hmm.
one of the benefits, one of the perks,
Mm-hmm.
then I might as well get the degree that I really wanted.
Uh,
And I mistakenly assumed that I could just jump from a bachelor's in science to the master's program. But when I met with Dr. Chang, and you guys, Dr. David Chang, I adore him so much, one of the most amazing artists you'll ever see, and amazing professors, he explained to me that the prerequisites for an MFA are not the same. BS, because the science coursework undergrad coursework is too different from the arts undergrad coursework for me to just go. I would have to get 60 out of the 120 that I would need. Although MFA is actually 135 credits, so I have a little more to go, but it doesn't mesh. I ended up having to go back and get these 60 credits again, which was amazing because you don't know what you don't know until you actually find out.
It's
And
true.
taking all these courses in art history, especially Dr. Hollander, oh
Hmm.
my God, all these amazing things. It's like a bulb opened, turned on rather. I'm translating straight from French into in my head. So a light turned on, and the history of art makes sense now
Hmm.
from the beginning of times to the present. Taking these series of art history courses that had I been able to just jump to the master's program, I would have missed out on, really helped me as an artist. And also color theory.
Mm.
Until recently, I didn't understand because I didn't know and understand color theory. I didn't use it as part of my process.
Mm.
Now it's a very important part of my process. I use it in the composition of every piece I create.
Well, I see your primaries right there. You've got a red shirt, a blue shirt, and a yellow headscarf right there, don't you?
Yes, yes, it's my latest painting. Yeah, it's my most recent piece. I'm working on something new because there always has to be something on the easel, and plus I'm preparing for a show August 18th at the Art and Culture Center in Hollywood, um, down in South Florida. So for this, I based the choices of colors on one color of the scarf, which was kind of a darker turquoise. And I use tertiary colors just to pick because I knew that I wanted the background to be a Haitian mountain. And so the colors of the lady's clothing had to complement the scarf. And the choice of this scarf, part of my process is I get an idea for a piece and I find the models.
Mm.
These are my colleagues,
Oh,
Mirta and Talina, two ladies that I work with at FIU.
oh.
And they've been asking me to be in one of my paintings for a very, very long time. So I
Mm.
finally found the perfect one. And it's based on their friendship.
Oh.
They are best friends, and the way they interact fascinates me. And I wanted a piece about friendship, about gossiping, for example. Like they're telling a story, and I'm sure you have the image and you'll be able to show it closely. But they're chatting and they're having grin all time, and in the background is one of our beautiful Haitian mountains, very lush with lots of foliage and trees, and of course the Haitian straw baskets
Mm.
are something that I enjoy
Mm.
creating. I enjoy painting, that I incorporate in a lot of my paintings. That so Mirta, one of the characters, the one in the red shirt, no, the one in the blue shirt, she's holding it. That's what it's about.
Why are you painting Haitian art instead of scenes from South Florida?
I do mostly Haitian art, so there are a couple of reasons.
Mhm.
The main reason is my fondest memories of my childhood in Haiti
Mhm.
are going to the marketplace with the cook,
Mhm.
because life in the 70s in Haiti was very different. Things were very affordable, like for almost nothing. You could hire somebody to help you in the house, a cook and a maid, as long as you gave them lodging and you had extra quarters in the compound, the house. You didn't have to be really wealthy. I was upper middle class,
Mhm.
I think, and you could afford that. So when I was a little girl, the cook would tell me, "Hey, do you want to come with?" And because I was a chubby little girl and lazy but greedy, I she would always tell me, like, if you come with me, I'll buy you a rapadou. Rapadou is dried molasses. It's like a candy that's amazingly delicious. So for the price of a rapadou, I would walk the 20 blocks. It felt like, I don't even remember how far, to go back and forth to the marketplace. But when I got there, it was just, the senses were overwhelmed by bright clothing, those baskets, the smells that you unfortunately cannot convey through the painting, and just the people, the way the sun reflected on the nuances of skin, like going from dark brown, like burnt umber and raw umber, to burnt sienna,
Mm.
artist color, the different reddish brown to dark brown. I never forgot about that.
Mm.
But the other reason is that, and of course, the background of mountains were always in the background when you live in Petion-Ville in Port-au-Prince, where I was raised. Petion-Ville is a suburb of
Mm.
Port-au-Prince, the
Okay.
capital city of in Haiti. The members of the diaspora, of the Haitian diaspora
Mhm.
in America, especially the ones that are my generation, who grew up in Haiti in the 70s and 80s, and honestly, people also who grew up in the 90s, because of the insecurity in my country right now,
Yeah.
it's not like you can really travel, because I hear horror stories and I'm just not brave enough
Mm.
to venture. When they see one of my market scenes, it's like being back home.
Oh.
So that's why I paint the market scene. But I have other scenes where I incorporate beautiful foliage from South Florida, and the people that I put in my painting, a lot of them are from South Florida. So the reflection of the sun on the skin is more Miami sun than further tropical sun that you further down toward, closer to the equator, that you would find in Haiti. And so often too, the foliage that I incorporate are foliage that I find here in South Florida. I create an illusion of scene by taking bits and pieces from many different places and people that I know.
So they still it gives you that it's a memory painting.
In Yeah, a hyper realist memory, because I call my style hyper realism, because it's so realistic, photorealism. In order to achieve that, I look at objects around, and I take photos with my iPhone, or my SLR. I take photos and use these images to do that. That's why here on my easel, I'm working on a piece, but there are these little baskets that I took photos of out in my backyard that I'm using as an example, as a source, a resource, a reference rather.
I have a question then. We'll
Sure.
dig into the details a little bit. How is the sun different? Does it change the skin tone or color from Haiti to South Florida? I mean, I haven't really been south of the Keys per se. How is the sun different as an artist handling that with visual strategies versus South Florida? I don't know.
I think it makes the skin a little brighter,
Oh, really?
because the rays, to me as an artist, the rays, the closer you get to the tropics, or maybe it's my scientific brain, because something must have stuck, but having a background of science. So the rays, when you're closer to the tropics, are more direct,
Hmm.
and as you go further north, the rays are more angular and it's less bright. So if you think about how things look when you're in New York and how it looks in South Florida, it doesn't it feel that it's brighter? Everything's brighter in South Florida.
Hmm.
And I'm
Yeah.
convinced that it is because of the angle of the sun rays that we get. I may be wrong.
Hmm. I can feel a difference because I'm up here in North Florida right now, and I can feel a difference. And yes, I can see a difference now that I've developed a lot of more visual acuity. Going through the program, and it's like, and some people say, "Oh, it's not." I'm like, "Oh, I can see it. It's subtle, but I
It's
can feel it, and I can see it." Hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why also, in the summer, the light is different in the winter, of course, because of the tilt of the planet. And and also for me, my favorite light is about 1 or 2 o'clock, even 4 o'clock. If I'm going to take photos of models or people who are posing for me
Mhm.
for a painting, I always tell them, hey, you have to meet me by no later than 1 o'clock so that by the time we take the photo, it'll be 2. If it's 4 o'clock, it still works
Mhm.
also if it's closer to the summer because the light is still beautiful and the shadows are more interesting. In art history, we learn about chiaroscuro, about the light and dark. That is something I love to incorporate in my work to make sure I use the shadows and create contrast so
Mhm.
that you can feel, you can get a vivid sense of the scene that
Mhm.
you're looking at. Bright colors, bright sun, shadows. That's to me what embodies a painting that I would enjoy looking at. And then the other reason I paint market scenes also is I learned when I started as selling my work that you have to paint what you know. They always tell you that
Mhm.
paint what you know, figure out what you're passionate about, and create art as an artist about that. And
Mhm.
I'm passionate about my memories of the positive memories of my
Yeah.
childhood in Haiti. I don't paint about the tougher subjects like the trauma,
Mhm.
but I paint about those things that I enjoyed,
Mhm.
that I escaped in. And then also art has been my good luck charm. I met my spouse at an art event.
Oh.
If I'm ever broke somehow, some way, I will sell a painting, and it's what brought me back to God because I being raised strict Catholic has consequences. So as an adult, when I had a choice as to how to think and what to think, I found my way back to God because it only made sense that being able to create what I create is from a divine being. It's a gift that was given. Somebody else could have been chosen. I was chosen, and I felt that that's God. He, she, her, it, whatever that being is, has decided, has gifted me with that, and for that I'm grateful. And we communicate about that. Always gratitude. I don't like to ask for stuff, so I always communicate about thinking more than anything.
Well, I think that's a good point too, because I think we have plenty of the news media about, things that are important to know about, of course, but there's also a very joyful side that we always miss out on. And I didn't know that much about Haiti, of course, until recently with a lot of the unfortunate news. But so this is really refreshing when I saw all your images and the market, and we're about the same age. So I'm thinking, I grew up here in the '70s and '80s, and now, and yeah, seeing what life was like in a different place, not far south from here,
Hmm.
the culture and etc. And I'm interested. Actually, I like baskets.
Hmm.
I like bags and baskets.
Yes.
What I just love. I got pots. So what is important about the Haitian basket and incorporating that into your artwork?
So the Haitian baskets are made out of straw. In French, it's pitre, Pitre. And other cultures use it too. Asian cultures use those kind of baskets, and they're woven. To me, what makes them beautiful are the colors, because it's and I'm using technical names for the colors because that's what I know with my paints of tube. So to create a basket, I will use Naples yellow, a little bit of yellow ochre, raw sienna. So let me see. Let me grab some tubes and show you. So this is Naples yellow.
Ooh, okay. You use Winston. Okay.
Uh, I use a variety, not just one. Then I used
Oh, okay.
raw sienna,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
And
I like
then
that.
I use some of the browns, burnt sienna,
Oh yeah, I like burnt sienna.
and yellow ochre, gold ochre, and the different browns.
Oh yeah.
So this is what I enjoy. about them. Let me put these back. Yeah, I created this invention. I would show it to you, but I need to get it protected first. So that's what appeals to me, and the way the curvature of it all, and the fact that it creates such an interesting background to the beautiful bright colors of the people's clothing, and the brown skins, and the lush green backgrounds. It's just so beautiful to me.
Well, tell me, what is hyperrealism exactly?
Hyperrealism is making paintings or drawings look so close to reality that you wonder, is this a painting or drawing or a photo?
Mm.
Because I've seen pencil drawings that are mind boggling. They look so real. With oils, though, oils are what I use. That's my medium oil. You're able to make it look so incredibly real that
Mm.
it's hyper realism. It's super real.
Hmm.
Also, that term is interchangeable with photorealism,
Hmm.
I think.
Hmm.
So,
And as an artist, is this something that you have evolved to with this strategy, or are you evolving as an artist like Rembrandt? And I know that you mentioned Rembrandt in your bio and stuff. Are you staying here for a while and going on to different visual strategies, or what is your course of art strategy right now?
so I consider myself a self-taught painter because the way I learned to paint is I just bought the supplies and started painting. I nobody and trial and error. I like realism. I plan to stay with realism
Mhm.
and make it better. I think the my evolution will be more related to materials.
Mm.
I really want to incorporate other materials with the paints. That's why I'm looking forward to my ceramics class in the fall, because I don't know what that's going to translate to on canvas. I've dabbled making the painting more 3D, but there must be a way. So I have to learn
Mm.
about the process in order to know how I can incorporate it with my oils. And I really want to study how to make paper also, because I think
Mm.
paper and canvas, there's something to it. I've
Mhm.
created pieces where I have painted on a thick watercolor paper that's adhered to, I sew it on a canvas, but I put an acrylic base, and you can put the oil on top. As long as you put a layer of gesso on
Mm.
something, you can paint oils on top of it.
Uh,
And at the end you protect it with varnish. I
mm.
like Damar varnish, but Dr. Cheng will tell you Sennelier, which
Mhm.
is a different brand
Mhm.
of varnish.
Mhm.
So this is where the evolution would be. I just want to continue making it as real as possible. I like the idea of painting what I see. Scenes of everyday life in Miami, I've done some pieces here and there. I want to do more of that. But right now, I'm still driven to paint market scenes. What I've done is I've incorporated my daughter in a lot of my paintings. When I was allowed to take photos of her, because at 14, I'm not allowed. So when she was younger, being the mom of a teenager is everything I was warned it would be. I adore that little girl. I adore her, and I will take the eye rolling and the side eyes and continue to enjoy the photos that I was able to capture of her when she was younger. So I've been incorporating
Mm.
these images that I've taken over the years into Marcus scenes or just other scenes.
Also, you're talking about your influences like Leonardo da Vinci and
Mhm.
etc. So I can see a lot of that. What do you admire most about Leonardo da Vinci, and how do you incorporate his visual strategies besides chiaroscuro into your, modern take on a Da Vinci?
So, what I admire the most about Leonardo da Vinci is that he was as scientific minded as he was an artist. I have that side of me, the academic side of me, that where I love sci-fi, I love anything related to science, that I think that is Da Vinci like, because he is responsible for so many inventions, but also I love how important being precise in drawing, how important that was to him.
Mhm.
Drawing is key to
Mhm.
everything I do as an artist.
Mhm.
Before I started painting, I not only do a sketch, but I do, a beginning sketch to put my ideas, but I completely sketch the canvas, very detailed,
Mhm.
with the correct proportions. It has to be precise. But also, what I like about Da Vinci is that he was defiant when it comes to authority.
Mhm.
As a person, as a professional, I'm not one of those necessarily rebel that'll argue, no, it's my way or whatever. I'm very strict in the way the work has to be done,
Mhm.
because you have to do the work to me.
Yeah.
But as far as authority, remembering my childhood and how ridiculous and stifling the authority was, the fact that he rebelled against the Catholic Church, is why I really feel that I have a bond with him. If it was ever possible after we pass that we could have a conversation with someone, he's right up there with my grandmother and my grandfather that I never met,
Yeah.
and other people like, and Rembrandt
Mhm.
and Durer. Oh my God, Durer! I learned about him in art history. I adore this man's work, and if you take away all the obstacles that could prevent us from communicating, such as status, their status, social status versus mine. If the way I was raised is social status was so important that people would not communicate with you if you were from a different status. Of course, the racial barriers. If you take all these things away, and I could have a conversation with these folks from the past. Oh yes, I would totally be right up there with Leonardo. He's amazing to me.
He is. Yes, his sketches. That's Dr. Chang's favorite artist too.
Of course. I didn't know that, but that makes sense, you know?
Oh yeah, that's his number one guy. He'd be right there at the table with you. I want to
Oh,
have
yeah.
dinner with Leonardo.
But, knowing Dr. Cheng is kind of knowing Leonardo of this era. And if you hear this, Dr. Cheng, yes, I think you're Leonardo of the modern days, because you're that genius. So I admire him. He's amazing.
Now, you also mentioned Rembrandt, who's one of my favorites too. I love his lighting. How does Rembrandt influence your style of painting? I see you got a lot of shadows, so maybe that's it.
It is his level of realism, his attention to details, and definitely his use of light and dark, his use of chiaroscuro is very important. I was very shocked to learn that he passed away broke at the end. As many pieces in that he was able to sell as an artist, and as prolific of a painter he felt victim to not only his spending, but his to getting old, to not being able to paint the way he could. And as you know, because we're the same age, once you pass 50, the reality of aging begins to set in.
Mhm.
The changes, although gradual as they may be and as subtle as they may appear, they affect you and make you wonder what the changes, what changes are to come. One of my biggest fears in life is to not being able to keep my hand steady enough and not be able to see enough to produce what I produce. That is what happened to Rembrandt. He just became too old and frail to
Mm,
paint the way he was, and you can see the changes in what he produced.
mm,
So that's the lesson, just to maybe to begin coming to terms
Mm.
with the ability, with the fact that at some point I will have to accept that I cannot create, or maybe I won't mentally be able to remember or conceptualize the pieces the way I do. Yeah, everyone has to go through that. It's why you live fiercely and enjoy the moment, because life is what it is. We're privileged. I'm a silver lining kind of girl. I tend not to dwell on the negative. I don't listen to the news. I get it in small doses that are filtered by my spouse, so, and by my friends. I choose not to dwell on that. I always think about what's the next amazing thing that I have to look forward to, and I focus on that
Mm-hmm.
instead of the what ifs.
Mm.
In French, they say avec des si. Oh my God, I should know. You see, that's part of aging. I forgot. There's a saying in French about with what ifs, but I choose not to dwell on the what ifs or to be envious of what I don't have. I'm content with what I have. I don't need to be overly wealthy. I don't need to be having the biggest luxuries. I just need my family and pay my bills and be allowed to create.
To
If
do.
I can paint once a week, that's good enough for me.
Well, I think that really comes through. It shows like your red shirt, and you got red shirt there. We got red background. We got like red going on here, and a triangle thing, and it's bright. It's cheery. Yeah, all your paintings are really like, yeah, happy people, and the eyes. It really comes through. It's like, wow, I didn't. Haiti looks like such an awesome place.
Through my eyes, because Trisha, I have to tell you, I have this bubbly personality, and there's not a shy bone in my body. And people always tell me that I'm always upbeat because I choose to do that. I wear bright colors as much as I can, and I have the type of personality when I walk into the room that yes, I'm going to find a way to make you laugh, even if it's at my expense, because life is too short, and because that's what life should be about. It should be about positivity. I think I get so much from working
Mm.
at FIU. I work for this amazing program at FIU called the Green Family Foundation Neighborhood Health
Oh.
Program with the College of Medicine,
Mhm.
where we're able to help the community by sending medical students with their counterparts in nursing and social work and law into homes of people who agree to be a part of the program, but people who would need access to resources.
Mhm.
And we help them improve their health by figuring out where the resources are. And
Mm.
then most of all, if they don't have health insurance,
Mm.
they get free primary care on our mobile health centers
Oh.
with our medical doctors, or with our amazing doctors. And also I get to work with my best friend at times through a partnership with the organization that she works for, at Branken. And I ended up working with my other best friend who was a podiatrist. So there's a lot of collaboration for this thing of helping others, which is the other need that I have, to make a difference in
Mhm.
people's lives. So when you see me, I'm gonna be talking forever and tell you about all these great things, because I think that if we can support each other and remain positive, life is just a little better. It just makes the ride more fun.
Yeah.
And then along the way, you enjoy the beauty of nature and paintings and music. It's we're so fortunate to
Mhm.
be alive and
Yeah.
to have this good life in the United States. I'm so grateful to be here in the
Mhm.
United States that I'm just enjoying everything.
Yes. Well, okay. Now I can see that you're helping. You've got two ladies there helping each other, and you've got lush landscaping. So, what is this show that you're working on, and what visual strategies did you pick up from Professor Hollander? And how are you incorporating all of this new knowledge into your work now?
So the show that I'm working on is so last year, the Art and Culture Center Hollywood, I took a chance
Mhm.
and entered their show, the 2022 biannual.
Mhm.
From what I understand, there were 400 artists who submitted. I want to say 40 were selected. My numbers may be off, but I was selected as the winner
Mhm.
and awarded an honorarium of about $1,000
Wow.
plus a solo show. The solo show is I get to fill two small rooms of the big center. It's such a beautiful center. You have to visit this center, Art and Culture Center Hollywood. And so my strategy for preparing for this show, I
Mhm.
told myself that I'm aiming for 20
Mhm.
because the 20 pieces, the curator Megan Kent basically gave me some freedom.
Mm.
And I decided that I was going to start with some market scene and a couple of other pieces are not necessarily market scenes,
Mhm.
but all about people. Worst case scenario, as I'm running out of time, I have less than 3 months left.
Uh,
I'm going to do quick drawings, quick studies of on oil on paper,
Ooh.
gesso back. So that's going to be those are going to be little painting. Maybe I'll do one wall. They're just frame little pieces. So that's my strategy. Just waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, painting for 2.5 hours during the week, taking some leave time that I have from work, especially now as we get closer. And on weekends, now that my daughter is not in school and I don't have to do the battle of the homework. So I'll be able to devote more time. And
Mm.
also my spouse is so understanding. I
Mhm.
worry sometimes how little attention I give him, but it's okay with them because he knows why we're doing this. As the paintings sell, I hope that they sell well at the show. That's part of my daughter's college fund. So that's the strategy, just to produce as much as I can and use my time as effectively as I can.
Well, that's good practical because a lot of times we don't always talk about the practical part of art too. It takes time to really do a painting and to be able, too many times people ask like, why do you charge what you do? And it's like, well, it's all the messed up canvases that I did, plus the good one.
So the way I explain it also is that, let's say for example in the background the face of the woman with the blue shirt, her face took 12 hours. So imagine if I spent 12 hours on just a face. Can you imagine how much time was spent on that painting? That painting is easily 80 to 100 hours. So if you think about what my time is worth hourly, and let's not add the price of the materials, the canvases, plus my experience as an artist, then that factors into that cost. This is why I have no choice but to charge what I charge for my
Mhm.
work, which is reasonable.
Mhm.
Um, Dr. Chang, in his course, The Business of Art, which was the best course I've ever taken, helped us calculate all these things about how to price a painting and experience and the amount of time you spend on a piece and what you consider your worth as an artist factors into that.
Yes, because most any art, music count in all the practice time.
All the practice that led up to being able to produce that. There are a couple of things, videos I've seen on social media about exactly that. Is if I do something in 30 seconds, you're not paying for the time I spent creating it. Only you're counting, you're paying for the 20, 30 years of experience. I started drawing when I was 4 and did my first painting when I was a teenager, but really a true painting when I was 25. I would say that as a professional artist, I have almost 30 years of experience, and as an artist, virtually over 40 years, 50 years almost of experience as an artist. So that's what it's about. So if you're out there thinking about supporting an artist, I'm not trying to persuade anyone to spend money that they don't have. Before you think an artist charges too much for his or her work, think about what went into creating that piece and think about how you would feel if you spent all that time and all these years of learning your craft and somebody debated with you, nickel dimed you over what you're worth.
Yeah, because even that wet drapery, that's kind of Leonardo, his specialty was wet drapery. So look at all the beautiful, I can see in the background there, you got, I could point with my finger, I put it down here. I was like, yeah, all the folds, how the body contours and how to get all those folds, especially for hyperrealism, to get it all just right.
Yeah. It's attention to detail. It's reevaluating and paying attention to how to make the colors and the paint do what you want it to do, and the composition. It's work, but it's pleasure for me. It's so amazing. I always tell people that the way I view the world is I see the world as potential paintings. Everywhere I go, there's a potential scene that I would love to capture on canvas. And I've even thought back of things that I've seen as driving around South Florida that I just wish I could have stopped the car and told the person, please, 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 let me take a picture of you. I'm an artist and I would love to paint you. I've done that, and embarrassing daylights out of my daughter. But there are some scenes that I remember at a street corner. I saw this woman who was selling bottles of no, she was selling fruits. Mm-hmm. She was probably selling oranges, but she was wearing this small skirt, this red skirt, and she was wearing this hat. But she was in a median in a busy intersection. I will never forget that scene and how I wish I could have stopped, turned around and said, hey, just please let me take a photo of you. You will not believe what I will do on canvas with it.
You have to find another model and then recreate it. You're good at recreating it. That's pretty amazing to be able to imagine and recreate and create scenes. Like Leonardo and other painters too. It's like, they're not just posing models in a place like a photographer. They're like creating a scene from all these different elements.
Yes. Had Leonardo da Vinci and Rembrandt had the technology that we have available to us now, I'm sure they would have made use of it, like so many artists like myself are doing now. Instead of having people pose for you for hours and taking chances of people moving and changing the pose. If you've ever done a live drawing class, you'll understand. Like getting somebody to stop moving their feet when you're doing a live drawing class so that you can capture the right angle, the consistent angle of the foot is just the craziest thing that you would never think about until you experience it. But photography allows me to capture my subjects. And you're right, that scene that I saw, I can recreate, but there's nothing like the spontaneity of capturing someone in action. I wish that, and maybe because I love sci-fi, you've seen those things where they say that you can have chip inserted in your mind to record what you see. So imagine, this is crazy sci-fi me talking, being able to capture, like on the phone, you do a screenshot, but do a screenshot of what your eyes saw in your mind's eye, and storing it and being able to print it in references and be able to get this vivid snapshot so that you can, as an artist, recreate that. Wouldn't that be cool? But that's the other scientific part of me, the sci-fi possibility. But then again, Da Vinci must have been that person if he created the flying, the helicopter and the flying person.
Skydiving.
The what?
He invented the parachute. Basically, he had sketches of the parachute.
There you go.
Yeah, I've been skydiving, and he.
You have?
Oh yeah, gotta live life, Sophia. Gotta live it, right? That's what you said. Just jump. It's the first step.
You are so right. But I'm going to let you enjoy that part of the thing, the jumping out of a perfectly good airplane part.
There are no perfectly good airplanes.
Don't say that to me.
We won't go there. Well, Sophia, this has been an awesome conversation with an artist. in the
Oh,
process and in the prime of your painting career, and you're still moving forward, going to get that degree. Congratulations.
I will continue going as fast as I can, taking 1 or 2 credits per semester until it's time to allow my child to use those credits.
Well, Sophia, I know my cup is about done. Cheers to coffee, tea.
Cheers.
So, after this show, do you have any plans going forward? What's your next project after this?
So in the fall, I'm going to take 2 classes because I didn't take classes in order to prepare for this show. I didn't take any classes this semester, the spring nor the summer. So I'm going to take Greek art, the history of Greek art, intro to ceramics class. Then a lot will depend on how my show on on August 19th goes. I run out of paintings. That's my hope. If my clients grab whatever I have, and if another opportunity suddenly comes, then I may end up not taking the classes and preparing for whatever the orders are. But definitely, I want to do a show specifically about and create a series of work about Haitian cuisine, Haitian cooking, which is an idea that I had that's just, I see it in my mind's eye, and I've already done some of the preliminary work for it. I wanted to have another solo show, and I know who I'm going to approach about it, dedicated and celebrating Haitian cooking, because as you can tell, I enjoy my food.
Yeah.
So there's nothing like Haitian cooking to me. The griot and the jus collé, jus jonjon, and the fried plantains and the soups and the spices.
You're going to have a buffet with that too? Because I'll just drive down for that.
Who knows? Who knows? A friend of ours, a friend of Debbie's, my best friend, is this amazing cook who has inspired my series. So who knows?
That could go wild on Instagram. I'll give a small plug. I did another podcast recently of a young lady who has a very mixed heritage from Chinese to Mexican, and she came up with this drinks book that's just amazing. And so when you said that, it just reminded me of it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, when you get that done, and then we're gonna have to do another interview. We're gonna go through that because that sounds so like Instagram crazy. You got to put recipes.
Well, talking about Instagram for the audience, if you enjoy my art and want to see more, my Insta is Sophia_Lacroix, like the drink, _artist. When I have the energy, I record time-lapse videos of my process. There are a couple of them in my Instagram. So I welcome you to follow me and watch my progress. I post about once or twice a week just to keep people updated on what I'm creating. So I would be honored anyone would follow me.
I look forward to following your career and interviewing more artists. And thank you so much for being here today, Sophia. We'll look forward to seeing more from you.
Thank you, Trisha. Thank you for having me. And so glad we connected, other than being the loudest people in Dr. Hollander's club. Oh, that was so much fun. The younger folks didn't know what to do with us.
No, they didn't. They had no clue. We're going to plug to the history department there.
So, Dr. Hollander, if you see this, thank you so much for being such an amazing art teacher. I love your courses.
That was great. He was so goofy. He was great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Sophia, for being here today.
Thank you, Trisha. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Have a successful and bright day.